Alright, welcome back to Sonic. I keep wanting to say Sonic Underground. You can't name a game Sonic UN and not expect it to be finished with Underground. But anyway, we are back in Chun-Nan to do the daytime stage, which is, you know, the Werehog stage in Chun-Nan was like the only good Werehog level so far. And the boss was pretty alright. And now the daytime stage is also pretty good. So Chun-Nan is actually one of those rare areas in this game that is pretty much... Oh my god, Chip, please stop. We went through this last time. But yeah, Chun-Nan this time is one of the few... Goddamn, Sonic, you are so slippery. One of the few areas that entirely is good. It's not just like, oh yeah, the daytime stage is good. But then the Werehog level's bad, and so is the boss, but... This level overall, give it a thumbs up. Give it 2 thumbs up. Why not? And yeah, this is what I was talking about before. This area gave me trouble the first time I was through here, and now coming through here for the second time, it's just as annoying because Sonic's still very slippery, and you know, it's just not a fun time. Of course, the fact that Chip has to say, "Sonic, I think we can get over there," like every time, so obnoxious. But here we go, Chun-Nan daytime stage. A pretty good level. This one took me quite a while to actually record, because while this isn't Generations, you know, in Generations when I Let's Played that, I got all S ranks, I did as good as I could in every single level. This game I don't like as much, so I don't care as much. I still wanted to get, like, run-throughs of these levels that didn't look like absolute garbage. You know, me dying a whole bunch and getting hit by things, tripping on things. So this one took quite a while. I practiced it a bit and then finally got what I would consider decent take of this level. You know, this is the point in the game where I don't really play it as much. You know, once Rooftop Run comes in, I'm out. That's my extent of Sonic Unleashed. This is also a level I feel like they could have probably done this one in Sonic Generations. I mean, obviously I'm glad they did Rooftop Run, but it's too similar to City Escape, which is a problem that Sonic Generations had with that there were too many levels that were too samey. Like, they didn't need Green Hill and Seaside Hill. They didn't need City Escape and Crisis City and Rooftop Run, because they're all pretty similar. So, you know, Chemical Plant and Planet Wisp are kind of similar. So this one would have actually broken it up a bit. There's this one, and I want to say Holoska, or Holoska, would have been another good contender. Also, this is such a good song. All the music in this game is great, but there are those certain tracks that are like, oh, this is a primo song here, dude. So there's actually some tricky stuff in this level that I didn't know about. This was actually the first time I had taken a specific path, which is, I think, coming up right here. This doesn't look like it right here? Yeah, you can go underneath that and then go to this little path here. I thought it took you to this path, which was like a separate path, but this is the main path. Because this part is actually pretty difficult, and at the end of this level, I'm going to show a whole bunch of deaths that I had in one of the recordings for this level, you know, showing just how long it took me to really play this. And this is the level that I was talking about before, where there were a lot of really funny deaths. And yeah, aesthetically, I like this level. The only parts I don't like are the platforming sections, like the ones we just went through. Because, as I've said 1,000 times, and I will continue to say in this game, Sonic is so slippery in this game. Parts like this do not feel good. There's a part almost exactly like this in Sonic Generations, and I think... What level was it? Sky Sanctuary, I think? That it's almost identical to this, with the spinning circular platforms, and it's so much better because Sonic controls so much better in that game. They made him way less slippery, and there's a level coming up kinda soon-ish where it shows just how bad Sonic is in this game compared to the other ones. Specifically the drift, which I talked about before in the first Missouri stage. Because the drift is god-awful. It's really bad. There's one level that's pretty much built around the drifting. I think it's also a Missouri level. It's one of the special, like, extra levels for collecting a bunch of Sun and Moon medals. And it's impossible to do. But anyway, that's Chun-Nan Daytime. Pretty good level. I hate when this goes on for so long. It's just Sonic's just staring right into the camera like a goober. So anyway, like I said, now we'll see some not-so-great deaths from some not-so-great runs that I had of this level. That one just shows again how slippery Sonic is. I shouldn't have boosted there. I don't know what happened there. There are some that are just like, what is going on? That was just me being an idiot. That one I'm really not sure of. I hit the enemy, and then I guess hitting the enemy made me face the other way. That one I just bonked my head on that. This was definitely one of the most frustrating things, and it was like the level was actively trolling me at a point. Like those two. So stupid. And here's my favorite part of getting a really bad rank. I can't think of many other games that do that, but that is one of my favorite little attentions to detail, where the music that plays usually in the goal is just super. It's slower, but everyone's playing it like completely wrong, and that's really great. Yeah, that was one of the only things that I was actually happy about getting that E rank. Was that, oh yeah, I get to show that music, great. So here's another mediocre daytime boss battle. This one's not as bad as the as another one we're gonna get after this, but it's all right. You know, I said this before in one of the Werehog stages. The boost gameplay doesn't lend itself well to good boss battles, because ever since this game, they've all been really lackluster. You know, you're running forward. Kind of like Sonic not Sonic Adventure, Sonic Advance 2, where all the bosses you're running from, or you're chasing, because they're all moving. Which is a neat concept, but like after, what is it, this game, Colors, Generations, it's 3 games. I can't believe I had to count that on my fingers, I sound like an idiot. But, you know, it just gets old. And then all the bosses use the same thing. It's all the lasers and the projectile balls. This is almost identical to the final boss of Sonic Colors, only it doesn't have the amazing, amazing music. You know, all the bosses you can homing attack. You can also boost into them for more damage, but sometimes it's safer to homing attack, so it's really at your discretion. Although, out of all of the daytime bosses, this one's probably the only good one. This is the only one that I'd go and say, you know what, yeah, I'd play this one again. I mean, it would have to be like a gun held to my head, but I would still volunteer to play this one. It looked like I should have hit him the first time. I don't remember what game it was. I think it was Colors, where they were getting damaged. You can run into them again for more damage. Like, you've hit them once, they recover, and then while they're, like, sliding across the floor, you can still boost into him again for more damage. I think that was colors. Or maybe you could do it in this game too, but I'm just bad at it.
I knew this would happen.
Not a bad toy, but playtime's over, pal.
And I like how at this point in the game, Eggman's not even in his mechs anymore. He just doesn't care. He's just going off doing his own thing. I think the voice was Orbot, but I didn't see Orbot in the cockpit there, so who knows? And yeah, we've been #blessed with 2 non-Werehog levels in one video. How about that? It's always a good thing when you don't have to see the Werehog at all. I love how past the first time that we do this, that we restore one of the continents, they just do like a shitty in-game, like, hey, this is just the map screen. You know, when the first one was like a good pre-rendered cutscene, they couldn't do that for all the rest of them, so it's just in-game. It looks definitely not as good. So there we go, we restored another piece of the continent, which is good. Making pretty good progress here. And we're going to talk to Rebecca Chang again. I think there's 4 or 5 of these that you can do. You don't have to do these, I'm just doing them because why not? They're little quizzes. Some of them get kind of dumb, just because they're like, what was the first Chaos Emerald that restored the planet? And it's like, I don't know, was the like light blue one? Was it the blue one? I don't know, I can't tell the difference. Oh, that's easy. It's Apotos. Oh man, I don't know. This one, I was going to put laser beam, and I didn't realize that these are timed. So, see, this is when it just gets stupid, because this, I'm essentially just guessing here. He loves cucumber sandwiches, that's pretty easy. So yeah, I mean, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of getting the question right if you don't know the answer. So it's just a matter of, you know, narrowing down the choice. So I'm going to just do it again and plug in a different answer. And I think I get really lucky this second time, and I guess both the answers correctly. We know that there's 7. So, laser beam I'm pretty sure, and that's correct. And I assume blue. And there you go. Not so hard, is it? Just, you know, don't lose your head there, Rebecca Chang. It's a joke for Dead Rising 2. So anyway, as usual, we're gonna go check up on Professor Pickle, who's probably still talking about One Piece. I don't know if you have to do this every time. I kind of just like checking up on Professor Pickle. See if he's gone senile yet. But he usually points you in the direction that you need to be going. I think you actually might have to do this. Because I don't think you could just go to the world map and then immediately know where to go. Or maybe you can, I don't know. This is annoying. All I wanted to do there was jump. But I talked to the guy instead because there's too many things mapped to the same button. Which isn't nearly as much of a problem as it was in Sonic 06, because I think everything was mapped to the button there, like the slide, the jump, the ring lightspeed dash, and the bounce. So there's parts where you're trying to do the lightspeed dash, but you'd bounce into a pit and die. And, you know, shocker, Sonic 06 wasn't made very well. So, I might as well show this off once. When you talk to people, sometimes they'll have those little googly ghost things, like, coming out of their faces. You take a picture of them, and then you gotta exorcise the demons. And the way you do that is you beat them all up. You see, instead of having a counter going up, it's going down, which means you have to do this in a specific amount of time. And we have to kill 15 enemies before the time runs out, otherwise that man's demons will not be exorcised. To quote the great Marshall Mathers, it's time to exorcise these demons. These motherfuckers are doing jumping jacks. I always liked those lyrics, those were good, clever lyrics. So yeah, of course it couldn't be just a video without the werehog. It had to be shoehorned in here somehow. But I legitimately will never do this ever again. In fact, I think even on my normal save, I don't think I've ever done it more than once, if at all. You get an achievement or a trophy for doing it the first time, I think, or maybe just every other time that you do it. I think if you do all of them, you might get an achievement that says, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, which is like, alright, that's fine, but it's not really worth, you know, subjecting yourself to this, because this game is kind of boring when you're playing as the werehog, if you haven't noticed. Hey, you know, if the werehog was used exclusively like this, it wouldn't be that bad. Somewhat timed missions, you have to beat X amount of enemies, and then that's it, you know, that would be fine, but these, like, 30-minute long werehog levels, that's where it gets rough. And I am not a fan of those. But unfortunately, I think we gotta do one in the next video, and it's, I think, one of the worst in the game. I doubt your mind is as sharp as a needle, dude. So, over in the entry stage, I don't think we've been here yet with the werehog. I think we've only been here with normal Sonic. We shall find our new stage, which, as I said before, isn't one of my favorites. It's actually probably one of the worst parts of the game, in my opinion. There are certain parts in the level that are really quite bad, and I'm not really looking forward to them. But I think after this one, the werehog stages kind of calmed down a little bit. Until the last one. And they're not as long. Like, I think this next one might be the end of the really long werehog levels, if I'm not mistaken. And look at this gameplay and lengthener. Why you gotta flip 3 of those switches? That's just padding for no good reason. So anyway, I will see you in the next video where we take on Cool Edge Nighttime. So see you then.